What is good, TPA Podcast? It's your boy, Big Holla. We are back with another episode. I got a special guest with me. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Naoma. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
So how did you get your name?
So Naoma is actually my middle name.
Okay.
My first name is Elise. So I just moved to Atlanta in November.
Okay.
We were talking about that a little bit before, but it's funny because people from the Midwest where I'm from call me Elise, but down here it's like Naoma. You know, I'm Naoma. So yeah, I love my middle name.
So what are you into these days?
Man, just trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle so that I can get my music right, because I believe how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah.
So just been trying to get my physical, my spiritual, my mental, you know, all right, all together.
You know, it's so crazy. So like the world works in like weird ways. I feel like I'm exposed to things right before I am about to explore that, right? So it's so crazy because you were in a public interview, right? I asked you something, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I remember this.
And it was about energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had never been exposed to it at all. I've been like a workaholic my whole life. So like a lot of like cultural type of stuff or cultural ideologies I wasn't exposed to because I was like, I'm going to be a CEO of a company one day, you know what I'm saying? And that was it. So my friend, but he talks to like a lot of girls, right? And he was telling me about like girls who believe in spirituality, you know what I'm saying? I knew the word. I didn't really know much about it though. So when you say like mind, body, soul and stuff like that, what do you mean?
I mean, I just feel like everyone is, here's a good analogy, like everyone is like a stool, a three-legged stool. Mm-hmm. You have your physical body, you have your mental, your mind, and then you have your spiritual self. If one of those is off balance, what happens to the stool?
The stool is gonna fall over.
Falls over. So I would just say your spirituality is your connection to your intuition, like you said. When those coincidences happen, you know, that's for a reason, you know. It like magic is real, you know. That type of magic does happen in the universe, and the more you accept that, the more blessings come.
You know what's crazy? I think science and magic are the same thing.
Yeah, 100%. The fact that we're even existing in this moment is magic. Like,
yeah, it's a miracle.
It's a miracle. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah,
that's why I was most excited for this. I was actually supposed to interview one other girl, and I was watching her TikTok. I went to school with her, and she said in her TikTok, she was like, something, I read the Bible and I come to the conclusion that I'm a witch. So I'm like, I'm kind of interested now. I want to see like what the perspective is on it.
Witch talk. I've seen all that.
For real?
Witch talk is a real thing. Yeah. I've seen just like, and I just observe, you know, because TikTok is an interesting place. You can find anything. But I've seen like girls like practicing spells, and I think honestly, do what you want, but if it's for the highest good of humanity, good. If you're doing some weird shit where you're messing with evil spirits, I don't want to be a part of that. Yeah, that's all I'll say on that.
what experiences have you had with like the spiritual side of things?
I would say, like, honestly, I had a huge spiritual awakening in 2019. I lived in Cape Town, South Africa for 4 months. Okay. And just, I mean, it's typical to say that, but when you do travel outside the U.S. and live outside the U.S. for the first time, it's just a whole new world. So I came back and just kind of found kind of like my groove and understanding who Naoma is and what I'm actually on this earth to do. And it was a lot. And so I think the more I have tapped into that in the past year, especially the past couple months since I've been in Atlanta, the more I like am, stepping into my power, I would say. Yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah. I don't think I've learned that outside the country though. Like I do, and like I've traveled outside the country, and like being in nature is a thing, but I don't know. It's like grasping concepts, like having time. I think in America, like at a very young age, we're put into this cycle, right? School, work, money. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And once you get trapped in that cycle, it's hard to like actually take in information. Yeah. Right? But now, ever since I quit my job in July 2021. No, 2020.
Okay. COVID.
So ever since then, I was working very hard because obviously, but once I got like enough to like relax,
sustain,
I was like, yo, the world is actually like, all you got to do is really be positive and you'll get to everywhere you need to be. I always believed that. but I never was able to understand it till after that.
That's so, just crazy that you even said that sentence, because I was thinking of like my intentions for this interview, and I had that exact thought. I was like, I just want to get across to whoever's listening that exact belief. Yeah, that if you believe that good things are going to happen to you, good things are going to happen to you. That's just how the universe works.
What was it called? Murphy's Law, right? Law of attraction?
Law of attraction, yeah. Like, that's real. The energy you give out is the energy you get always, period.
Yeah, and that's why, and I also... the other part of it that I've realized is like people understand that and they'll manipulate it. Because one of the first books I ever read, because growing up, I didn't read books. I ain't gonna lie. I was always a documentary person.
Same.
So I watch documentaries, forget books. And there was this one called How to Get Anybody to Do Anything. Yeah. And it was when I first got my first job. My homie sent it to me and I'm reading it. And it's telling you how if you mimic people's gestures, they'll be more
comfortable,
more comfortable or
willing.
More apt to do what you ask them, or how to trick somebody's brain into for them saying yes. Like you ask for a small thing, like, hey, can you pass me that real quick? And then they pass it to you. Then you ask, because now their brain's already functioning and answering yes.
Right.
So I understand the evil side of it too, which is crazy.
Yeah, that can turn into manipulation real quick.
Very quick.
But that is true.
So when people talk about like witchcraft, I believe it. There's a way to get, and I've seen it happen to my homies in real time. When they talk to a girl, I can see like that thing in their face. When they look at...
What does that thing mean? Like they're reading your soul when they look at you.
Yeah, okay. Like that, or anything that has manipulation over you, right? So I've seen people do it with drugs. So people, when you bring like weed, that thing in their face just lights up. And I'm like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that so much. I don't like that so much, especially when drugs are involved. Like, I've seen some people really not aware that they're addicted to substances, and I drink. Yeah. I'm not a saint, I drink. I used to smoke on a break. Yeah. But when it comes to like hard stuff for young kids, like I don't know. Yeah. I don't man, it's tough because it's so easy to get addicted without realizing it. And I've seen that happen to some of my friends, and I'm still not really sure how to go about like telling them like that ain't it. Yeah, that ain't it. I know the music you listen to, it talks all about it and it's part of, the party scene and all that. But
so you're from the Midwest, right?
Midwest, yeah. Originally Michigan and then Indianapolis.
So what is the difference in the culture up there that you've seen them from down here?
Well, on the topic of like drugs and not a lot to do in the Midwest, like that's a problem. Especially my school, I went to DePaul with a W, shout out DePaul. Okay. 2,500 kids in the middle of nowhere, Greencastle, Indiana, and all kids wanted to do was drink and get fucked up. Like that's it. That's where they're paying tuition for. Like, so
that's crazy.
The Midwest, especially in Indiana, is known for cornfields, Not a lot going on. That's why I had to leave if I had wanted to do music at all. But I would say the people are friendly. It's great up there. Like, I'm not going to bash the Midwest at all, but there is a problem, I think, with substance abuse that it's not being talked about enough. And I do think it has, speaking of music, like music does have an effect on that problem. Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, and maybe I think that's why it's good for people to talk to each other. That's why I wanted to start this podcast, because that's the only way you can understand people's perspective. Because like my perspective, like I literally was in sports year round from when I was 5 years old.
What'd you play?
Baseball, basketball, football, and soccer.
Damn.
Yeah, sports year round till high school. Then I only played basketball and baseball.
Okay.
So I had no time, like,
to be doing drugs.
Think of like doing anything.
No time for drugs. That's a good thing.
But it's good talking to people, because now I understand how like somebody like, I'm not gonna say the person, but how some people that I know have falling into something like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I know somebody in Vegas, there's nothing to do out there but gamble, skate, and do drugs. That's it.
And they're getting in their late 20s, and it's like, oh, it ain't cute anymore.
Yeah,
it ain't cute anymore.
So
I feel that.
what do you think the best way to like correct that is?
Honestly, like, it's always a personal, like, you can't make someone stop doing it unless they want it for themselves, you know? So I honestly would think that just like having these conversations more, and honestly, it's not really a problem that I'm like, I wear on my heart where I'm like, I have to fix this with my music or anything. But since we're on the topic, you know, and you have a platform, you know, it's good to talk about.
Yeah. So let's get into your music. When did you start doing music?
So I've been singing my entire life, like literally would annoy the fuck out of my brothers. For real. Just singing all day long, and like family gatherings, I would just gather all my family and make them sit down and watch me sing. So shout out to my family for just going along with it, because I would sit there and make up songs and lyrics for a good 30 minutes and they would just always cheer me on. Like, they just were supportive. And so I kind of like have gotten real serious about it for the past year, and just kind of like another kind of spiritual awakening. And my little brother, who's 19, I'm 23. I told him, I was like, I'm moving to Atlanta. Like, do you want to come with me or not? Let's get these dreams. And he was like, yeah, let's go. So we've been here since November, and we're just really, you know, just trying to make moves.
So what made you pick Atlanta?
I knew for music, like, there's just a lot of opportunities. And I'm the type of person where I throw myself in the deep end and
that's what's up.
Float, hopefully, usually. Yeah. And that's what happened with Atlanta. I went to LA by myself, and I knew one girl from high school who let me stay with her, but that's the only person I knew. Yeah. Just trying to meet people, just get any experience. And then I came to Atlanta by myself, and just trying to meet people, blah, blah, blah. And do you want to hear this story? This story is crazy. This story is actually wild. And this was kind of like a big sign that this is where I needed to be. I came down to Atlanta, went to a club, I like to have fun, you know? Yeah. And outside of the club, they were filming a music video for Fat Man Key, I believe it was. Yeah. And so there's cars, there's a bunch of girls, baddies looking good, blah, blah, blah. And they had me in the video. Like, they like got me in the video. I was in the car, like, having fun and all that. It was a lot of fun. But I met Man Savage. Yeah. You know Man. And I was like, I'll sing for you right here, right now. He's like, girl, no one's going to do anything for your career right now. Save it for tomorrow. I was ready to go, though. I was like, I came down to Atlanta, ambitious, you know. Yeah. He's like, all right, tomorrow come to my studio. And I did. I pulled up to his studio. He's like, damn, girl, you can sing. Yeah. And so I recorded half my album in his studio that next day.
That's crazy.
And so I'm really grateful for that. But the craziest part of that story is the first song I showed him is a song that hasn't even come out yet called Heaven Sent. Yeah. And I was showing him in the car, and he pulled down his mask, because everyone was wearing masks then, and he has Heaven Sent tatted on his face.
That's crazy. Hey, what a like coincidence.
Like, alignment. Yeah. Alignment. And I was just like, in that moment, I was like, Atlanta's home. Like, this is where I need to be. Yeah.
I think Atlanta is the home for like unfiltered music, because like I don't know New York's history. I know New York's history with hip hop, so I know like that is like the mecca or the birth of like the hip hop scene.
Yes, yeah.
But or the one that we know at least. But I don't think the industry has tapped into Atlanta's music yet. I think like around Outkast, they realized it. And then like T.I., Ludacris, they seen. Now we have like Lil Baby. Like, we've always had somebody at the forefront that was like 1 foot in the industry and 1 foot for the people. Yeah. The whole time.
Yeah. So, I saw a tweet that was like, arguably the top 5 rappers out right now are all from Atlanta.
Future, Lil Baby, Gunna. Who's the other two?
I forget the other two. You said Future, Lil Baby, Gunna.
Yeah. Maybe Young Thug. Some people will put Young Thug on there.
I think Young Thug was on there. I forget who else was on there.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's accurate. Atlanta has made a lot of noise, especially the female rappers. Lotto's going crazy right now.
Lotto is going insane.
You heard that album?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Lotto. I'm proud of her. Like, I just watching her growth and
Mm-hmm.
you know everything she's been through. And man, female artists are on the rise. That's the thing too. Like, I just give so much respect for all my female artists because there's a lot they have to go through other than focusing on music. Like in the industry, getting through this industry, I've already seen some crazy shit since I've been here in Atlanta, and so I can imagine years of that can weigh on someone.
Do you want to get into the industry or you want to stay indie?
It's a good question. I want to reach as many people as possible with my music.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can do that in the industry, if I can do that independent, cool.
Do you think you're willing to give other people control of your image to do that?
I would say not control, but help.
Yeah.
With my image is sometimes needed because the industry people sometimes know which lane is wide open.
Yeah,
you
for
know.
sure.
So that insight I don't think would hurt me, but I know who I am and I stand very firmly on in who Naoma is, and that will never change. Yeah.
I think that's good. I think with that type of confidence and that kind of belief in yourself, 'cause I think the only reason the negative things happen to people is because sometimes they run into rooms a little too quick. They don't know for sure, and life kind of happens to them. Then they end up in a situation they don't want to be in. But I think if your head is straight when you go into it, you'll probably be fine for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I feel like anyone can blow up really fast these days with social media and their music and they're not ready for it. And we've seen it happen. Like we've seen that happen. And so, truthfully, like my main mission this past even month has been like getting into character of like I already have exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Putting myself in that mindset so that I'm ready for when it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what was your biggest thing that made you? Have you ever wanted to stop singing at all? Was there ever a time where you're like, I want to give this up?
Oh, not even close.
For real?
I
That's
feel like
what's
I'm
up.
so hungry for it because I'm just like only a year in for like taking it serious because I got my degree. I did the job route and I was like, this just isn't for me. I'll be just so sad if I don't go for my dreams now. And truthfully, like I didn't really think I could do it. Like I knew I could sing, but I always had this thought in my mind, like in college, like, oh, like it'll be cool just to sing, you know, the rest of my life. But no, like this is a gift I was given.
Yeah.
And I need to use it. And like I can help people. I can influence people. I can, you know, do a lot with it. So that's what I need to do. So I think I'm so hungry for it. There's not been a day where I'm like, oh, this is too much. Like I want to do more. I think honestly, I'm more hard on myself because I know I could be doing more and more and more. Yeah.
I think with like a work-life balance, especially when chasing a dream, is a good thing. But as long as you can capture that feeling and keep it as long as possible,
yes,
that's all it's about. Right?
Yes.
And like when you fall in love with the process of blowing up, I think people fall in love with the idea of the destination. So sometimes life can become overwhelming because it's like, bruh, I'm not here yet. But if you love the journey, you understand there's gonna be ups, there's gonna be downs. But at the end of the day, life is going to get to wherever it needs. If I'm doing things positively, I'm gonna be in a positive place. I think that for sure.
Yeah, and success is subjective. You
For
know,
sure.
Someone could feel, and I do feel successful even right now. But for even just getting down to Atlanta and you know, like living with my brother, like I'm trying to take in these moments because I know one day the life will be very different. You know, maybe I'll have kids one day. You know, just a very different lifestyle. So I'm trying to, you know, take in the present moment always. Yeah.
What's some of the craziest things you've seen in Atlanta in your short tenure here?
Oh, let me think. This is kind of, it's not too crazy, but it just kind of took me by surprise. Okay. Like I was just shopping and I was walking to my car and I saw a couple fighting in the car right next to me. So I was like, oh shit.
Like inside their car?
Inside their car. And there's a baby boy in the back. He's like 5-6 years old. And the girl gets out and looks at me and says, and that looks at me and then looks at her man and was like, oh yeah, get Shawty's number while you at it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, don't bring me into this. Don't bring me into this. Like, just scream fighting like bad, and I was like,
they weren't like physical or nothing.
No, I
Okay,
mean,
cool.
no,
All right, yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
say anything like that. But
That's what's up.
but I was like, oh, don't bring me into this. And then she walked off, and the guy was just sitting there like pouting in his car, and I just drove off. But like that kind of just threw me for a loop. And then let's see, I would say the driving is different down here
For sure.
Like I was telling you before our interview that I got into my first Atlanta crash. So I feel like
you got into it?
Yes.
I thought you said you seen one.
No, I got into a crash, and so. Man, I mean, there's just like crazy drivers down here, like just people who just go crazy fast for no reason, and they're swerving lanes, and I'm just like, yo, chill.
How did the accident happen? Was it their fault?
So I technically rear-ended someone, but they stopped abruptly because there wasn't a left turn lane, and it was a very windy part, so it just happened really fast, and everything's good now. No one got hurt, blah blah blah. But yeah, that was my first crash ever, so I was kind of shook up, you know.
Atlanta is crazy because we have so many different people from different places. Like we have people who lived in more rural areas that came here that for the most part they know how to drive. The issue is the people who came from cities that they never needed a car and now they have one.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's where the bad driving comes from, bro.
So are you from Atlanta?
It depends on who you ask.
I'm asking you.
I say so.
Okay.
Yeah. My culture is Atlanta. Like everything I experienced in life was inside of Atlanta. I grew up in Gwinnett for sure, and I will rep Gwinnett whenever. But if somebody asks me that's not from here, are you from Atlanta? The culture of Atlanta raised me.
Okay.
So
yeah.
But no, I'm not from. My address don't say Atlanta on it. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha.
So where you're from, what's like the biggest you figured you would have got there in music if you had stayed?
Well, there's a girl from Indianapolis named Meta who got signed with Rock Nation, and she's killing it out in LA now. Shout out Meta. We're gonna do a song together. I'm manifesting it. Actually, her best friend from childhood is one of my close friends.
Oh wow!
So that's a connection I have. I'm like waiting for the day I meet her. She's a goddess. She's killing it. She just opened for Jasmine Sullivan. Huge. I'm very proud of her. So she's repping Indianapolis. But as far as staying in Indianapolis, I'll be honest, not far at all. There's 2 studios in Indianapolis. Damn. 2 recording studios.
What's y'all's like population up there?
I don't really know the numbers. It's I mean, there's
a lot of people.
Yeah, I was south of Indianapolis, and that was a very booming, growing city. So it's growing. I mean, people love the Midwest because it's a great place to raise a family.
How is the weather up there?
That's the one thing I don't miss too. The weather in the winter is, especially in Michigan. When I lived in Michigan, the winters are horrendous.
Crazy.
So I had the best winter here when it was 70 degrees. It was amazing.
You've never even had an Atlanta summer yet?
No.
Oh man.
I cannot wait. Okay, I've heard the weather's crazy, but I'm so excited for summer here.
Well, no, it's like crazy during this time. Once it hits like May, all of that's out the window. It's gonna be hot all the time.
Like really hot?
It's humid. That's what's gonna make it miserable. Yeah. So you'll feel sticky going outside. You'll be taking 3-4 showers a day. Type, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
All right, I'll prepare for
Especially if you're outside, like if you're in an air conditioned home and all that, you'll be fine. But if you go outside, every time you come inside, you're gonna want to take a shower.
Okay.
For sure.
That's really good to know. I'll prepare mentally for that.
So, what things have you done in Atlanta with your music so far? I know you had a concert. I wasn't able to make it to that though.
Oh, that's all good. Yeah. Honestly, this past week has been huge for me.
Okay.
I got an opportunity to perform for Young M.A.
Oh wow.
At her birthday party, and that happened because I booked a show at Believe Music Hall. Shout out Donnie B. Thank you for that opportunity. And I was one of 2 artists to show up on time for soundcheck.
Crazy. One
of 2 out of like 15 artists. And so this was a moment where I was like, I'm so glad I take myself and my craft seriously because I got to run through my whole set at soundcheck, and the casting director for Young M.A. was there. You never know who's in the room.
Facts.
She came up to me right after and was like, "What are you doing Saturday?" do you want to perform for Young M.A.? And I was like, yes,
I'm
there. I'll cancel any other plans. And so I got kind of like a industry day. Like I got my hair done, my makeup done. I performed with a live band.
Like, and they took care of everything?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was incredible. Like just meeting Young M.A. and she's so amazing. She's so chill. We had a great time. So yeah, that happened in the past week, really. So just stuff like that. Like I want to keep this momentum because it felt just so right. Yeah, it just felt right, and I felt like I was at the right time at the right place, and it was a really good experience.
So what was your first like studio session like?
My first ever was up in Indianapolis. Actually, I had a shout out Alex Milligan, one of my best friends from high school. He was an artist in Indy, and I was like, listen, I just need to get into the studio. I just want to come see you record. And so I went, and my other friend, Victor Kachina, who's killing it out in Indianapolis. I'm waiting for you to move down to Atlanta, but for now, he's in Indianapolis. We went together, and I just fell in love. I was like, I love it. I just watched them do their thing. But down here, I've been repping and going consistently to ATL HD, if you've heard of them. So that's like my family now. I'm really lucky to have met them and be working with them.
Have you collabed with any artists since you've been out here?
Honestly, no. And there's a couple of reasons. One artist actually I have collabed with, Jordan For Real is his name. He's not from here. He's from West Virginia, but he has driven down to record, and we've done one track together. But the reason is I'm really trying to build a catalog right now and focus on, Naoma's sound and get that together. But I love to collab. I'll definitely be collabing in the future. Yeah.
How far into the future, like after like your first project or something like that?
Yeah, I dropped my first project titled Naoma back in August. And so that was kind of like my breakthrough and like letting people know in my life, like, no, I'm doing music for real. But I'll be honest, I love that project, but it does not even compare to what I'm working on now. It doesn't even come close. So I'm gonna take my time with this because I know how much I've grown since then, and I'm only gonna grow and grow and grow. So I would say within the next year, hopefully, I'll be able to drop this next project I'm talking about. But I really want to collab with women, female artists who have a similar, not only energy but mindset with me on what we want to say in our music. So
what would you say your message is to the people in your music?
I've always been big about confidence, especially if you're a young woman. I'm truly terrified for the next generation because of social media, because of the obsession with followers and likes. And
see, here's the thing. You talk to the kids, they don't care.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
I think we were a victim of it because we seen it change. But like the kids do not care. Like, you having followers don't mean nothing to them, bro. You are trash just like that person, or you're a good person just like that person. I think kids are very good at identifying what is good and what is bad naturally until they're taught how to look at things. So now that like people say social media is it can be if you're not exposed to a plethora of stuff, but from my perspective, for the most part, like there's going to be certain subjects that kids don't know how to breach because they don't have the experience. But on the basis, is this a good person? Is this a bad person? I think they're pretty on par where they need to be.
That's good to hear. Yeah.
Definitely better than a lot of like us were in high school. Cause like my chat for my other channel is mostly kids. And the stuff I hear them say, like, even in how I see them interact with each other on the internet, when we got social media, it was straight to the people was getting stuff leaked to them. Like, they understand the code of conduct for social media. We didn't have that. Yeah, it's there.
That's really, honestly, an interesting perspective. Like, that's like the first time I've heard that perspective. Yeah. But I will believe it because I want only the best for the kids because maybe we honestly, truly, like, we're a victim to the importance of the follower count and blah, blah, blah. But maybe Gen Z is like, they got that shit down.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. That's really good to hear.
I think what kind of happened is, like, we went to school, right? And we were going through school. Social media came out. The popular kids became the most popular people on the social media apps.
Yes.
But for these kids that grew up in social media, I'm learning about this person. I've never seen them in real life. And I'm watching. They're able to see past the smoke screen and, like, see who people really are. Or you grow up playing video games, chatting with people for 6-7 hours at a time. You know how good people treat you and how bad people treat you on the internet. I think it's not a popularity game to them. It was for us because
we didn't have that.
It was the new frontier.
I think too, how, like, normalized, like, plus size models and stuff like that. Like, especially with TikTok, a lot of people are exposing, like, you know, themselves in order to, like, gain awareness for other people who are like them or look like them. Or so I think the more transparent we are with apps like that, the better. That's good to hear, because I really with my music, I want to make people feel good. One, make people feel actually every type of emotion. I want to relate to the human emotion, whether it be heartbreak, whether it be loving yourself, whether it be falling in love. And I think, you know, singing has always done that, and it will always do that.
So tell me some of the stories that you've told in your songs before.
So the one that Atlanta females like the most is called Break Up With Him.
Oh, wow.
But it's honestly about, like, a friendship, and you're sitting down with a friend and the friend can see through, you know, the toxicity of the relationship, and just sitting your friend down and being like, listen, you're not happy. You haven't been happy. He will move on. You'll move on. You'll be better. Break up with him. That's the message of the song. But whenever I perform it, it's a good one to, like, call in response. So I'll be like, break up with him. Break up. And that goes really well. That goes a long way in performing. So that's why that's probably my most known one. Let's see. Closure is my ballad on the project, and that one's about, like, truly saying goodbye to a lover, and just, you know, finding closure within that. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Were there any was there any inspiration to write these?
Oh, of course. All of them were raw. All of them were real time. Like, I'll when I'm feeling something, I will stop everything and go do voice recordings of how I feel, like, write it down. That's because I know that emotion is going to be gone and it won't be as raw anymore. I've literally walked out of meetings and walked out of classes, my senior year of class, to go write a lyric and to go record it with my voice memos. And I've gotten in trouble. I got in trouble senior year because I had to, like, do a group project and, like, a group presentation. And I was like, we were going next, right? And I was like, hold on. Like, I need to go record the song idea. My professor was pissed. But I was like, it's so important. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, Closure was really raw. That was, like, about my first love in college, and you know, I mean, that's the beauty of songwriting. I love songwriting, but I know that I need to act on it when I feel it.
I definitely feel the same, because I used to rap. I actually stopped. I stopped because of the same the thing that inspires you to sing. That realization is the same reason I stopped rapping. Right?
Explain.
Because I understood what my words could do, right? And I had a good way of crafting them where people couldn't tell, like, what I was talking about. You know what I'm saying? But as you get bigger, people put microscopes up to your music. And, like, the things that I would express would cause the people around me to have to answer for certain things. So I didn't want that to be the way I put my message out, because I was giving an experience, and hopefully this experience could touch you and inspire you to change. But I wanted to be able to do that with what I went through, or, like, people who may have played a part in what I went through, they didn't have to answer for my art, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I stopped rapping.
Are you too happy to?
Yeah, I'm too happy to rap now. I could rap like, I remember I went to a YouTube cookout, right? And they're like, I always make jokes. I'll drop a track every now and then. Like somebody asked me to be on a feature, I'll do it. And people heard it. They was like, hold up, you could really rap.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went up there and I'm seeing these are rappers, like rappers. So I'm like, they hand everybody the beat. We're doing this big 20-minute cipher. And they're like, you record 7th. I'm like, everybody's writing. The studio people are coming in. And it's like 3 people until it's my turn to record. And I have nothing. Because, like, I'm trying to dig. Like,
right.
Then I'll
dig deep.
Yeah, I turned around and made like a little fun song. You know what I'm saying? A fun rap, which ended up I feel like my verse lived on longer than everybody else's because of the content. But even now that I'm getting back into a space where it's like back in work mode, I find myself writing stuff that is, I don't like to bash people, even if they did me wrong. And like some of the energy in there is just not, I have to tell the story another way. That's why I don't rap no more. But it's good that you, like, everybody can use, everybody's channel isn't the proper way for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's good that you, like, your passion lines up. I also love talking, so this is a much better way for me to do it.
Yeah. No, I think that's really cool. Like I was telling you, I used to do a podcast and I genuinely loved getting to know people and their story and like hearing their perspective just like you. So, I mean, I think it's beautiful what you're doing. Yeah.
You said your podcast was called
This Is Your 20s. Yes. It's still up on every streaming, but my co-host and I are in different places now and it's tough. I would still like to kind of revamp it and make it more towards talking just to musicians, like young musicians, because This Is Your 20s was kind of a concept to talk to young entrepreneurs and young go-getters more broad when we had it, but I do miss it a lot. It was a lot of work, but it was so worth it every time. Yeah.
Did you ever see yourself as like a worker?
Like a 9 to 5?
Like ever in your life?
I'll be honest. I had a couple jobs in college and out of college, and they hated me because I couldn't do it. I mean, that schedule was just not for me, and it is for some people, which is awesome. I never will bash a 9 to 5.
Never.
But I just want people to know like that they can follow their dreams and still be successful. Like right now, I'm teaching voice lessons, and I love it because I'm using my voice to help other people, which is what I want to do with my music, and I'm doing that every day. And I'm teaching a lot of younger girls too, and it just like it's beautiful to see the passion of singing and music that reminds me of when I was their age. You know, so. No, I don't want to work. I'll work for what I want. I'll work harder than I ever would. But I had like, for example, I had an insurance job.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, really? Oh my gosh. And they just hated me. I would never show up on time. I would take long breaks. I would just do my own thing because I was out in my car recording a song idea. Like stuff like that, you know? And so I had to stop lying to myself and chase these dreams.
I'm not going to lie. Like people, listen, bless the people we lost during COVID.
Yes.
But one thing I will say about COVID is I think it gave people the ability to slow the world back down. We were moving so fast.
Too damn fast.
I don't think anybody was able to catch up. So COVID gave some people the ability to sit and think about what do I want to do and how can I impact the world the best. So
that's why we're seeing a lot of more like content creators now, and it can be overwhelming because you feel like there's a lot more competition, especially YouTube. YouTube's a beast. Like props to you for figuring out YouTube because YouTube in 2022 is unreal. But it's a beautiful thing too because same thing for artists. There's a lot of artists. There's a lot of competition, but I wouldn't want it any other way because that means more people are stepping into their power of creation. And that's ultimately what life is all about, you know, to create and to share and to spread joy. So we're all figuring it out slowly.
I think the roadblock that's going to happen with content creation is the reason why I'm still as confident I was before, is the supply of viewership was so high during COVID. As it dips, quality is going to emerge from that. And there's a lot of people who got caught in the repetitiveness of making content just because people were watching.
Mm-hmm.
But now that people have to go back, I see content creators like, you're kind of going through it because you got comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't want to create anymore. You wanted to process.
You felt like you had to. Or,
exactly.
Yeah.
It was like a regular job. You go to work, you process what you have, whether you're processing making pizza, processing insurance claims, like you're a processor at work. And once people became that, as restrictions and stuff dwindle and people have the movie theaters to go to, the park to go to, concerts to go to, now the quality of your content on YouTube is going to be what keeps you afloat. I don't think a lot of people are going to be able to make that. Hopefully hearing this, that thing could cut on, but I see a lot of people hitting that wall that's coming. So,
yeah, that's interesting. Honestly, I'm not too versed in the YouTube, algorithm or even the YouTube game, but I think, for me, content creation seems daunting. It seems like a huge task. Like even the TikTok thing, 4 a day. Yeah. 4 a day. Oh, once I get in the groove, I think it'll be fine. And I'm trying to get in that groove. But like right now, that's like all I want to do is create music. Like, why do I have to do all of this?
You don't.
And I don't. That's what I'm learning.
But see, the people who are telling you that for TikTok, again, are people who got the COVID version of everything, not the world. Because if you ever go, this is how you can figure out where everything is going. If you go on TikTok on your computer, right, and you look up like what they're showing on a incognito thing, not logged into it, every video is 2 minutes or more. They're trying to turn TikTok. Now they have the viewers. They're trying to turn it into a content space. So all that dancing and stuff that used to get everybody popping, y'all brought people to the platform. Now we need quality content to be here to compete with YouTube and Netflix and Hulu.
Wow.
That's what's happening. So you don't have to drop 4 a day no more. You have to drop quality content. Wow. Stuff that makes people stay on the app longer. Before it was volume that kept people there because everybody was at home. So as long as we can show your clip next and people stay, then we can show another clip. We're going to promote your channel. But now it's quality. We need people to come to the platform to see your video. And when they watch your video, they watch the whole thing. And preferably, we want it to be a certain length of time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's where everything's going back to. But you have to know that. Because I see people doing it, they're like, man, my TikToks aren't popping no more, bro. I see such and such do TikToks because it was easy. Everybody was at home. Now you have to try.
Yeah,
you have to edit. You have to put funny stuff in there. You have to have a creative mind for people to be engaged with your content. You can't just dance in front of the thing.
It's not a Vine feel anymore. It's not like just for funny videos.
Yep.
So are you talking about like it's better to have longer TikToks now with quality content?
It's better to optimize the quality of the content that you're putting out.
Okay.
I don't think there's a length requirement.
Okay.
So if you want to become a TikTok vlogger, just they could be a minute, they could be 3 minutes, they could be 10 minutes. Because I think you can post up to 10 minutes on TikTok now. But
wow.
Just make what you're putting out quality. And I did a podcast with Listening to Millions, the podcast before yours. And when I dropped it, I went on their podcast first. And I remember we were sitting there talking, and we were like an hour in. And he says, we've been going for like an hour and a half. You think we should stop? I was like, the content's not over, though. You stop when the content's done. So and you'll see, like, I have podcasts that are 50 minutes because that's when the content was over. But I have their podcast, which is 3 hours. The content never finished.
Yeah.
So I had to think about my memory card and like, my memory card got like 30 minutes on it. I don't want to have no weird stuff at the end, so let me just stop it here. You want to stop your content when it's done being creative, and that's what you want to put out.
Wow, I'm learning a lot, honestly. I mean, it's very true what you say about TikTok. Like, you have to look at their competitors and see what they're moving towards. Like, they put the 3 minutes out a long time ago, and now you said 10. Like, yeah, they're definitely moving that route.
Because they're trying to compete with YouTube and Facebook.
They have to.
Exactly.
They have to, yeah.
So they have to have a reason why, hey, investors, look at us. Like, because if they can't pay their creators, what's going to happen is, or I don't know what TikTok has in its plans, but once YouTube did shorts and they started pumping those out, they're saying, look, y'all can come back over here, get paid, because YouTube is the giant that it is. I don't know if TikTok could, if it takes down YouTube, I'll be surprised. Vine thought they had it, but
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? they almost. Yeah. But as long as you're able to take TikToks and put them on YouTube, I don't think you'll ever be able to permanently remove people. But they also made TikTok a household name, where you see somebody with a camera, you don't call them a YouTuber. You say, oh, you're probably a TikToker.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, TikTok is definitely turning into an empire. And I think COVID helped them a lot.
Yes.
COVID helped them a lot. I actually have a friend who works for TikTok now, and like the music, it's like a whole music label now. They have their own like music label, which they should, because I'm just like thinking of like Money Long, Hours and Hours, and how that song blew up. And that was really cool as a musician to see her go from a songwriter and be in the industry for so long. So did you know she wrote like California King Bed for Rihanna? Yeah. Crazy. So she was in the industry for, I think, 10 years. Yeah. It was. And then TikTok gave her a platform to, be her own artist, which is really amazing. But that's good to know. Yeah. That honestly put me on some game for TikTok. So
yeah, I think like one thing you'll see in the industry that happens is, once bureaucracy finds the industry moves itself to somewhere else, right? To be less filtered. So like media on TV moved to YouTube, and movies moved from Hollywood to Netflix, right? And with music, it may be TikTok, maybe their whole goal could have been a music industry. Like, because if they can control the music and what blows up. Because the first sign of it was like Music Lily and Triller. Yep. Stuff like, yo, these videos are different. Yeah. You bring the music there, you're able to curate the artist and have control over it. So,
I mean, and I feel like they affected the music industry just as much. Yeah. Because the labels have had to adjust to that. Like, I've seen a lot of TikToks of like artists who have a big TikTok following, and then they go into a label meeting. And they kind of feel, and I can't speak on it because I haven't been in that situation yet, but they feel like they're capitalizing off of the following that they got there on their own, and so labels are kind of like, having to adjust to what's happening with TikTok. It's a whole empire. And even like kids that are so young are able to have careers and be making money from their phone just from TikTok. It's wild to me.
That's why people talk negatively. I'll ask you, how do you feel about technology?
I mean, I guess I wouldn't have. I can't bash it, but I think the less connected we are to nature, it could be a problem. Is a problem actually. As long as we stay grounded and we have that balance, there's nothing wrong with technology.
I don't think there's any substitute for nature.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Is like you cannot substitute the feeling of being in nature and like the connection to Mother Earth, because that's number one. You always.
I have a book about that, right?
You have a book about?
No, there's a book about that.
Oh, I'd love it. You should let me know.
Though.
Okay.
I think that's what the Bible's about.
Ooh.
Connection to Earth, Mother and Father. That's why I think. Listen, Christians, y'all could kill me all y'all want. All right. I think it's the greatest concept theory book ever written. All right. Because, and the reason I look at it like that, I can see how people use it for evil, you know what I'm saying? Or some people think they're using it for good. But COVID taught me that stupid people argue over words. Smart people argue over situations. Wise people argue over concepts. And you could look at everything in all three tiers. So you could look at a situation like let me say something that's not like super polarizing. Let me see. You could take something like healthcare, right? We could argue about what healthcare should mean to people, but that doesn't get us nowhere. We can argue about situational healthcare. You know what I'm saying? This will cause this, but the concept of healthcare, what is it supposed to be for? That's how you can get it to its best state, is to understand what should it be for. Jail. Oh, jail is a word. It's really just a mental thing. Some people argue about the word. Some people argue about this person shouldn't be in jail, that person, blah, blah, blah. But the concept of jail should be for what? To rehabilitate people into functional members of society. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
But so I think the Bible is about nature, bro. Letting all the humans know you can love what you look up and see, right? God, whatever it is. But if you don't take care of this, it's gonna cease to exist.
Yeah, that's real. I have to tell a secret though. I've never read the Bible full
For real?
the way through.
I don't think most people have.
Yeah, I mean, I actually grew up Mormon, so let's start there. I should have been. I should have been read that.
I have a question.
Oh yeah, this is. I'm gonna write a whole book on this on my childhood. Cause
do you know what docking is?
Docking?
Yes.
No.
Can't be Mormon then. You know what I'm saying? It's a Mormon activity where a guy inserts himself into a girl and they lay on a bed and they have their friend push the bed to create the motion. That way it's not considered sex and they're still virgins. The thing I learned on YouTube, boy, I'm telling you.
Did an ex-Mormon say that, or did just someone say that?
No, that's like a.
I mean, can you blame them? They're horny.
Yeah.
Then they can't have sex till marriage. I mean, I can't blame them at all because the Mormon church is very outdated. But
so what did you learn in Mormonism? If that's what it's called?
Honestly, like this podcast can take a whole. I could be here for another 3 hours, but I mean to keep it short. Mormons are really good people, and I'm very grateful for growing up at a young age in that environment because I learned how to treat people with respect. I learned how to drop everything and go serve others first. Every Saturday, I was helping a family move with my dad. You know, every chance that my dad could get, it was actually just his 60th birthday, and my dad is still Mormon. But every chance that he had to serve others, he would. And so I really respect that about the Mormon culture. As far as how far behind they are in just equal rights with women.
Yeah.
Like, for example, men at the age of 12 get what's called the priesthood, which is a special connection to God that women can never have.
Okay. let me tell you. Okay.
So it's like little things like that. It's like you win some, you lose some, but it's a pretty big loss.
So I'm about to tell you how. Now, this is all in my recent last month of living, right? Where I came to this realization when, you know, the TikTok with the girl with the 333, you at the park, you know what I'm saying? And,
I was a part of this.
Yeah,
Good.
you were a part of this.
Cool.
Then there was
That's
this
what I'm
other
here
girl. She sells like butter, that
Love
THC butter.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So she came to drop it off, and when she came, we smoked, right? And she's talking to me about this Netflix series called The OA.
Yeah.
So I'm taking that in, and I'm like, okay, all right. So I watch it. The day that I tried her butter, I watched. It's just how everything has just connected to each other. So when you say about women's rights, the reason why I think the Bible is about the earth, right, is because it's the greatest entendre ever, right? Because the earth, women, right? You know what I'm saying? And I think when Adam and Eve were in that garden, okay, she took the fruit from the tree of knowledge. That's what it was, right? What she realized is that whoever creates life has the power. When Adam found that out, he didn't want that to happen.
Okay.
So, because nothing happened after she took it. It was after Adam found out what the tree of knowledge is. So, and then I watched this documentary called The Science of, or the something of pleasure. It's on Netflix though. But it teaches you how the way a woman's body works and the vibrations that are caused in her body are similar to the creation of the waves that you have of the creation of a universe.
Ooh.
So, I was like, oh,
you gotta send me that documentary.
Niggas are in trouble.
I would love to watch that. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah, I think one mission I have, going back to like you said, my mission with music, like I really want to tap into my own divine femininity, but like also bring that out of other women. Like for example, I have a song called "Love on Myself" that I recorded recently. Okay, so you can kind of take for what that may be about, but I think it could be a hit, truthfully, because I mean, women have been shamed, and I guess society has shamed the idea of stepping into your sexual power, you know, and like taking ownership of your sexual power and your relationship with sex with yourself. You know what I mean?
Bro, listen, the documentary, they literally said the woman, she's like a scientist. And she said it's almost like women could create an industry that could suffice the whole world and nobody have to work. People will build. I know a guy. Or I don't know him personally, but there's a guy. He owns the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas. Okay. For his wife, the coochie that is attached to his wife, he built a whole second $1 billion hotel for her. All right.
Pussy runs the world. You can't tell me anything.
See, and that's
Pussy runs the whole world.
That's why I think that a lot of people argue about words. When people say pussy runs the world, it's because that's the only thing that create life that look like us. That's what it really means.
Where'd you come from? Right.
Exactly.
Where'd you come
from? That's the only, I'm looking back at I'm like, yo, the Bible was really, and that's why I think it stood the test of time. Mm-hmm. Because the people who are really smart can look at it and grasp the concept of what needs to be done in the world. And they are looked at as, and then when they dropped part 2 with Jesus, look what they did to him. He was out here trying to protect people,
right?
And look what they did,
right?
All right, to let y'all know. I think that was like the season 2 of, hey, look, just to let y'all know, while y'all are out here doing these good things, this is how they're gonna try to. So don't always believe what you hear about certain people. Because that's not who people, I think, are from the beginning. They're taught to be that way. By gaining certain knowledge. So,
have you ever seen the YouTube video, The Egg? Do you know? Are you familiar with that? Mm-mm. I'll send it to you after. But it's basically just a concept. If you're listening right now, go watch The Egg. Because it changed my entire perspective on why we're here and who we all are. Like, the concept is basically we are all each other, and it's talking about reincarnation. Like when I die, I can be you, or when I die, I can be in 600 AD. You know, like even Hitler. Like we've lived every good, evil life, and there is no good or evil. There's no right or wrong. There just is. You know, and like. It's just a really interesting perspective, and I don't think it hurts to think that way, because that's the definition of empathy. Then, if I am you, you are me. How am I going to treat you?
See, and I think this is why I think like, this is why I think science, philosophy, religion, spirituality all are the same thing. Because I could take what you just said before you got here. Have you ever took shrooms before?
No.
Okay, look.
But I'm ready for it. Yeah, I would. 100%.
That's where I'm going after this. So, anyway.
Really, today?
I've never tried it. I need to find.
You going today?
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yeah,
That's sure. For the first time.
I don't know if I'm going to do it today, though.
Okay.
But
Okay, I respect it.
I was watching this thing called Fantastic Fungus on Netflix.
Seen that? So good.
And if you grasp the concept, fungus gave Earth life. It's the reason why life is above water on Earth.
They're so much smarter than us. They know everything.
Exactly. Yeah. And they keep a mainframe of information under the surface. So even when everything dies, it goes back to being a mushroom and comes back.
Yeah. And they're all connecting. They're talking.
Yeah.
Under there. It's crazy.
And that's why, like,
it's crazy.
And the way that it's wired is the same way our brains are wired. So that's why I think a lot of times people like take mushrooms and they have like certain realizations in life, but they say like if you're a bad person with bad intent, you shouldn't take it because it'll all those walls that you put up to pretend like you're somebody else, it's gonna show you who you really are.
Ooh, that's the thing. You got to be ready for something like shrooms and go in it with intention. Like it's not a party drug. Yeah, don't take that at a party with people you don't know. Take it by your damn self in your room. Yeah, and be ready with a notebook to write some shit down. That's what I've heard. At least I've never done it, but I feel like when I'm ready for it, it'll fall into my lap and then I'll be ready. And I hope it's a beautiful experience. Yeah. So let me know how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. I'm scared. I know I don't want to try. I know I have to try with a girl. Cause I feel more connected to
like a female energy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I feel more connected when I am around females than I am dudes. So I have to try it with the girl.
Why is that? Let's unpack that.
I think because they're more of a... I don't feel like I've ever pretended with people my whole life.
That's good.
And I feel like a lot of dudes pretend because of competition. And I never really cared. Like, I think I was a naturally talented person, so I was able to be good without feeling like I had to tear other people down to do it.
Say that. Hold on. Say that one more time.
I feel like I was able to become good at things without tearing other people down to do it.
Yeah.
So I think the difference in the woman's experience of life is they find places. The reason they have social groups where they can express their emotions is because there's a space in the world for them to do that. And I always reference this like a little boy falls on the ground. People say, get up. We'll watch a girl falls on, are you okay? She gets to express in that moment how scraping her knee felt. It hurts, it blah, blah. So she grows up accustomed to being able to do that. And I feel like I don't remember how my childhood went. I just know from what I can remember, like I gravitated towards the people who could
feel talk about the feelings.
Yeah, so that's why I always was around girls. I would hang around dudes when it was time to play basketball or something like. But other than that, I'm always around girls, bro, because like they actually talk about shit. Till they got to college, and I was like,
that's such a real thing. Like fragile masculinity is so, or not even fragile, toxic masculinity.
Yeah, for sure.
Where it's like, no, that builds up so many barriers and walls from a young age. And so I grew up with 3 real brothers and 4 stepbrothers. Mm-hmm. So a lot of male energy. No sisters. Damn. Now I actually do have a sister. I have a trans sister. Mm-hmm. But growing up with all that male energy, like I definitely saw that in my brothers. Like where I would, be able to cry and my brother would be crying and be a different situation. Yeah. Like, why are you crying? Mm-hmm. You can't feel. You're not a human. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a real thing. But I think, we're breaking that barrier. That's a generational thing that's got to go.
Yeah. I think once people can just treat people as people, like it's not really that deep, bro.
It's not that deep. We're all human. We're all each other. Yeah. For real.
I think and I was exposed to like a lot of stuff very young age, traveling. I seen a lot of people who look different from me. My brother has muscular dystrophy. So he used to go to like the Jerry Lewis telethon. I was exposed to people who literally all they wanted to do is live like everybody else. So seeing that, like, I think that's what made me such a people person. Because, like, we're all just trying to enjoy life. That's it.
We're all doing our best.
Exactly.
With what we know and, yeah.
But that's why a lot of my, like, I have girl friendships that I could go back to from I was born. But anytime I think I have a couple male friends that I could say will stand the test of time. It's very harder to find. But if we get too close, the things that you hide from everybody else, I'm a people person. I'm a very observant person. I'm gonna be able to see all the things that you hide.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get very uncomfortable.
You ain't slick.
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I've definitely had to like kind of sit down with some of my male friends and just be like, how are you feeling? Like you can talk to me like I'm your friend. Like I want you to, really express how you feel, because maybe you don't have a person that sat you down and asked, how are you feeling today?
Yeah.
I always want to be that person. I always want to, no matter if it's male, female, anyone in my life, I want to make sure my people are good. Like my people are mentally where they need to be, because someone could put a smile on their face, but they're mentally just in a really dark place until someone asks them to open up, you know? That's my advice. Anyone listening, like, just ask someone how their day was. Even if they're smiling, even if you feel like you know everything about them, sometimes it's just a good question. Like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
And sometimes they're like, oh, shit.
I think some people I think some people shy away from that, though. And a lot of girls, I feel like they have this experience in college, is that saying, you stare into the abyss long enough, it starts to stare back at you, right? So once you start to see so many of those dark emotions, like that person can get out of it, but then you become part of I think that's the middle ground. And that's why I think therapists are very good, you know what I'm saying? A thing that people should explore, because that's their specialty, right? Is to be able to do that. Yeah,
no, I feel that, because I've also had situations with friendships where they're like really in a dark place and you can do only so much. Like you can't fill someone else's cup if yours is only half empty, or if yours is empty, you know? So the more, and everyone just takes care of themselves, the more we can give to each other.
Yeah, facts for sure.
Yeah,
man, that's crazy.
We got into some crazy stuff.
I've been to, like, I haven't wanted to say, because I also know, and the other part of the Bible that I think is relevant is the reason why people can draw parallels to real life is because it literally tells you everything that could possibly go wrong if humanity doesn't take care of earth or women or whatever, the givers of life. If you don't take care of it, so that's why you got, you know what I'm saying, all the situations that go on in the Bible. So yeah, it's crazy, bro. But what was I gonna ask? What do you see yourself doing in 2022, like with your singing career and everything?
This year is gonna be about really tapping into which lane I want to go into, because my first album was more R&B. I love singing ballads. I love singing like singer-songwriter type of vibe, but really just kind of, this is the year for creation, to make the best creations I could possibly create. And I want to get more into making visuals and just just developing my artistry as a whole, and kind of doing a full circle, rounding out my artistry so that, you know, I'm able to find my niche fans and they're able to find me. Yeah. That's 2022.
How do you go about building your like fan base?
It's weird to say, but I really want to build a fan base on TikTok, because I think it is a great opportunity. Just like I was talking about with Money Long, I want to be able to connect with people on there. And you know the song, I Am Woman, I Am that one too. Like, I'm so proud of that girl, because I see myself in her. And she was able to reach, her dreams came true. You know, she was able to reach the people that she needed to. So, really just keeping up with my quality content on TikTok, and just creating a community is what this year is going to be about. Yeah,
I would definitely make either a separate TikTok or a YouTube channel where people can track what's going on with you. Because once people can buy into your story, like, I think the way you can control your narrative, that way, if you do go into the industry, that's why I think DDG does so well. It's because he knows how to control his narrative with YouTube. That way, the industry can't really. What can you do with my image? Everything is here that I put.
Yeah.
Right. So definitely start to build that. Look at what Kanye did. Kanye did it behind everybody back. He said, "Look, I'm gonna let y'all say whatever y'all want about me on the internet. I got the footage of who I really am."
Yeah.
Like, so he got to this space, and now he's letting everybody know. Look, this is. I think Kanye's documentary played a part. I don't know where that was. I think that was after I interviewed you though, but it was before the OA for sure. But yeah. That will get people to
when you watched it. You mean when you watched the documentary? Okay,
like so because he even talked about like some natural thing they were like eating in some other country that helped him with his mental thing. But anyway, yeah, definitely control your narrative by doing that. That way, like if you go to a studio session, just record as much footage as possible of yourself, because if people know your story, they'll tell your story. People can share your song, but that person doesn't know you. But if they can tell you, oh, I know this one girl, she was in Michigan, she moved to Atlanta, she did this, then she went to blah, blah, blah. Now they're telling your story. It's way easier for you to convert them into a fan.
Yeah.
So just have true. Go ahead, my bad.
Well, I think that's too, just being transparent about the whole process and just, connecting with maybe the future generation that's, of musicians and singers that's going through the same thing. Because that's what Kanye did. Yeah. Watching that documentary was so inspiring because he literally started from where everyone else starts. It's just a passion, and it's just like an inkling to pursue, and he moved. And that's the first step. And that's what I kept telling my brother to convince him to move down here with me. I'm like, listen, the first step in any success story is they moved and they picked up their life and they took a risk, So, yeah.
I can't see myself leaving Atlanta though.
Well, that's the thing. You don't have to move when you live in Atlanta. Like, I'm talking about move from some place that they know is not going to give them an opportunity. Yeah. But I mean, even he was in Chicago, Kanye was, and he moved to New York. So he just saw more opportunity for where, when New York during that time. But that's what I mean is like, when you feel called to, for example, me, go to Atlanta by yourself and not knowing anyone, and you do it because things like happen where you meet someone with heaven sent tatted on their face, which is also the title of your song. Like that shit doesn't just happen. Crazy, But I'm very thankful for the past version of myself for doing something scary.
Yeah. So let's get into this. What do angel numbers mean?
The angel numbers. If you don't know the reference, go watch his other YouTube video because it's funny. Because he asked me about angel numbers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then, so angel numbers. I wanted to correct my answer.
Okay.
In the interview because you said, "Do I believe in angel numbers?"
Yeah.
No, I don't believe in astrology. I don't believe in any of that shit. I use it as a tool. I think it's a great tool for understanding myself and understanding others. I don't take it too much to heart. But I feel like numbers are a way that our spirit guides connect with us. And if I'm able to connect to my spirit guides and communicate back with them and acknowledge when all of these numbers are being sent to me, there's no harm in that.
So like you believe so you believe in the concept of believing in numbers as they present themselves in your life?
I guess I would say that.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I believe that I got to get you a book. It's called Let Your Spirit Guide Speak. And it's essentially, I think everyone has a personal team. I truly believe that. And they're waiting for you to tap into speaking to them. They're waiting for their connection, their go ahead, their green light to give you blessings. And I've seen it manifest in my own life when I've reached out and asked them specifically for what exactly I want. That's exactly what has happened in my life.
So give me an example of that if you got a story time.
One is what just happened this past week. This past week, I asked for a big showcase where I could feel like a real musician on a stage, because I've done a lot of open mics and a lot of little dinky showcases in Atlanta, which has been thankful for them. Great opportunities, met a lot of people through that, but nothing like what I got booked last week at the Believe Music Hall. Look up Believe Music Hall and you'll see what I mean. But I directly asked for that.
Yeah.
I directly asked for an opportunity to be in an industry event, to meet people in the industry, and I got to be with young Ma in her intimate birthday party.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I ask for things come my way. Even if it takes a long time, they come my way.
So like, when you say you ask for this, what do you mean?
I would just say like be intentional. Like do you meditate at all?
Sometimes.
I mean, even if you're working out, when I am on a walk or a run, that's meditation. Yeah. But when I'm intentional and I take control of my thoughts and don't let negative thoughts or doubts take over my mindset, you are able to have abundance in this life when you take control of your thoughts and you have intention with every interaction in your life, even your interaction with yourself. What do I want? What do I want? Let's get clear on what I want, because there's only two problems in the world, and one is not knowing what you want, and one is knowing what you want but not knowing how to get it. Will Smith said that in his book. I just listened to that.
Will Smith, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Will Smith. I love you.
Smacking some knowledge into our brain.
Smacking some knowledge. No, but he said that like there's only two problems in the world. One's not knowing what you want, and one's knowing what you want but not how to get it. And it's way worse to not know what you want.
I said this in another podcast. I said I can never date a girl who has a problem with how competitive I am. All right? And I'm talking about my intention is to win. All right? If I'm going to participate in anything, why am I going to do it without trying to win? And I feel like I dated two people, and I feel like the moment our relationship started to take a nosedive is the moment that they started to strip that competitive, because that competitive edge lets me know I can get through anything. And once I feel like I can't get through anything, then my doubts can all take over. Like, oh, why are you doing this? Because, or man, what am I gonna be okay? Once that starts to, I can't get. It's impossible for me to get out of it until I feel that competitiveness again. So the same competitiveness that got me to be the guy that you wanted to end up dating out of everybody else, give you the life that you wanted, I have to be that. So
that's a part of you.
Yeah. So when you see me at a Uno game at your family function, just know it's no hard feelings. Like, I'm compete. I want to win.
But I'm here to win.
Yeah, I'm here to win. Like, if I'm gonna sit on this table, I'm gonna try to win.
Yeah.
All right. So that's one thing that's for sure. But what do you think are like? Give me like 3 traits that you think make you stand out in music compared to somebody else.
Ooh, that's a really good question. I would say, like, my soul, when I sing, you hear where it comes from. And it comes from when I was a little girl, and that was all I wanted to do. Yeah. And I think that translates well when I sing. Like, that's the one thing I learned at Believe Music Hall, and that's why it felt so real. And what I mean when I want to keep this momentum is, like, I commanded the whole room's attention. Yeah. Everyone, like, people were on their phones doing their own thing. I got up on that stage and people watched me. Yeah. I commanded that. And that's what a performer's supposed to do. Yeah. Right? I was doing my job, and I had multiple people come up to me after that. I went on and they said that this is the best compliment I'll ever get to, is that I changed the energy of the room.
That's what's up.
And that is what that was so fulfilling to me, because that's what I'm here to do. So I think, honestly, I've worked so hard on my energy. I work on it daily. And that's why I go by Naoma the Sun on Instagram, because I want to be a sun, a literal light in other people's lives. Yeah. And I think that's what makes me different, is I put my entire being into a song I sing. I would say that's 1 and 2, maybe, I don't know. But I would say my lyricism too. Okay. I can write a song.
For sure.
I can write a fucking song. So I'm just trying to tap into that more and push myself with that and how far I can go. Yeah. I'll even look back on a song I wrote a month ago and like rewrite verses, because I know I'm already better than I was a month ago. Yeah. And I think the third one is that competitiveness, like, and that hunger. I think a lot of young artists have hunger. Yeah. But truly, my music is all I can think about ever. Ever. I'm up at night thinking what I need to do tomorrow to write a better song
Yeah.
and reach more people. And that's my Capricorn moon. If you have any idea what I'm talking about, that's a very Capricorn moon. Okay, you're gonna hate me, but what's your sign?
What do you think?
I'm feeling Sagittarius. No? All right, I get 3 guesses.
3 guesses.
I'm feeling. All right, give me a hint. Is it a fire sign?
I don't know none of that.
Oh shit. Is it Taurus?
No.
All right, one more guess. Hold on. Is it Scorpio?
No, Gemini. You know
Gemini? Damn it. All right, but do you know your moon sign?
No.
Okay, we'll get into that later.
What does that mean?
That's like you have to know your birth time.
4/24. I looked it up because I only know that because I went on a Carnival cruise. You got to take your birth certificate if you don't got your passport. So I remember seeing that time on there. I remember what's crazy is I literally listened to a podcast 2 days ago where somebody was like, I listened to a podcast 2 days ago where they was like, yeah, then if girls ask you what time you were born, and I was like, what time was I born? What did that? And then you just asked me that. Is so funny, bro.
Called out. Listen, I'm never going to judge anybody for the big 3. I'm never going to judge anybody for their sign, but it is interesting.
What does the big 3 mean?
The big 3 is your sun sign, your moon sign, which is your moon sign represents who you are when you're alone, your emotions. Your moon sign is ultimately who you actually are.
Okay.
Sun sign is like, think of a sun like the rays you give to other people. It's your ego.
Yeah.
And then your rising sign as part of the big 3 is your mask that you present to people, like who you are the energy you exude when you first meet someone.
Okay.
So that's a big 3 is what I'm talking about. But
so what is like the thing behind Gemini?
Gemini is the sign for communication, which
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, it's the sign ruled by Mercury, which Mercury is a planet for communication. I don't know how that makes any sense, but that's what I know.
Okay, so I don't want to disrupt the astrology community, but I'm going to say what I think Gemini is. I grew up with people saying, oh, Geminis are two-faced. I don't think that's the case. This is what I think is true about Geminis. Adaptable. And I see this.
They're adaptable in any room.
But exactly. So I see Geminis as people who are able to go into the room that looks like it's dark and find the good, and go into the room that is light and find the bad.
Yeah, that's so real.
You're able to go into both rooms and try to blend the worlds together. Because if you look at everybody, people could hate all they want. Look at Kanye West. When you watch this documentary, you see he formatted it so perfect, all right? He showed, look, I'm aligned with the people who are in the struggle, but I also want to be in these rooms of people who have the money, who create, who have control. That doesn't mean I'm going to forget about y'all. And he's trying to blend those two worlds together. The other person who is like this, and people could, you can say all you want, but if you watch Donald Trump's trajectory through life, all right, there were some times, now that doesn't mean everybody's perfect, but the thing about people is you can't take.
Donald Trump is a Gemini?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Did not know that.
So I think, because that's the one everybody tries to throw on us. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got time.
Oh, you a Gemini? Donald Trump's a Gemini. Oh, that's so funny.
And I think people can do their best based on their perspective. And he was born in a perspective that probably isn't as representative of the full scope of people.
Yeah.
That's why some people aren't aboard. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the case.
One thing Donald Trump can do is communicate to people who he needs to.
Yeah.
And that's how he became president, because he got a whole cult following, you know? So that's very true about Geminis, is they know how to talk. They know. Yeah, he's a Gemini. Yeah. Yeah, so they know how to adapt where they need to communicate well.
Because like Tupac was able to make music where people like, yo, he has such a good message, but then he's spitting on reporters like, hey, yo, I'm still human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, so you're able to go into both rooms. You're not two-faced. You're just able to, I don't want to say code switch because that sounds kind of crazy, but you're able to talk to who you're speaking to at the moment. Type, yeah. So
yeah. I want to know your moon though, so you'll have to get back to me on that.
How do you find out what that is?
So you just put in like your time you were born, what city you were born, and then your birthday, and it will pop up. Just even on Google. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
If you have CoStar, that's an app for it too. But it's honestly like when I read my moon sign, I was like, holy shit. Yeah. Like there's no way that this isn't like a little bit accurate because it was spot on. Even my sun sign, I'm a Leo.
Yeah. What's Leo's about?
Leo is they love people, and I've always been a people pleaser. They're known for being confident, sometimes to a fault where it's like cockiness. But I've always been confident. I actually grew up pretty chunky. I was a big big kid, but I always had confidence. Like no matter what, just overconfident where I just like, they represent Leo represents the sun, which is like my whole thing. Like I want to be a light for others. They're very playful. They know how to have fun. Yeah. Fire sign, all that. So I was saying fire sign. Gemini is an air sign.
What's that mean?
So there's water, earth, fire, air. Air signs are logical signs, but mostly they're known for their ability in communication.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think it fits.
Yeah. It's just all interesting. It's all a game at the end of the day,
It's not though. Hey, look, astrology people, science community, I'm about to bring y'all together.
Okay, right? I'm with it. So, I'm with it.
Here's the thing. This is why Earth, the Bible, you know what I'm saying? Everything that I say, everything is derived from the same place, right?
Yes.
No matter what people call it. And when you have a child, when you conceive a child, depending on what environment you conceive that child in, can determine the development of the child, right? So if you were conceived in September and that mother was from a place that was cold, or that had a winter in that time, and you could have developed based on the environment that your mother was in, which would cause you to be a certain type of person. So it's not far-fetched that because of your birthday, you could act a certain way or be more susceptible to act a certain way as other people born, because those mothers went through the same conditions that could have caused us to develop in a way that shows these signs in our character.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I thought you were gonna bash me for the whole astrology thing.
Oh no, bro. I don't care. I think whatever can get people to being a good person, I don't care what you believe.
That's it. That's the whole thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever you need to learn more about yourself and learn more about this existence and this crazy shit that we call life, cool. Keep it. I don't care how you do it.
Yeah. That's what the tongue is, a powerful thing. I interviewed a girl on here too. You just have to be careful with your words because people will say, people use astrology to say, I hate these people.
Right.
I've never done that.
Yeah, same.
But there are people who I believe do that. I think they should stay away from astrology.
Yes.
Go find something where you could shed light on what you like. Stop pointing out the things that you dislike.
I agree.
So,
because it's back to the idea of the negative energy that you are putting out with astrology or with anything that's just going to find you. Yeah. It's going to continue to find you until you make up your mind that you only accept the good.
Facts. Yeah. So as a soul singer, what are some of the biggest roadblocks that you found making music?
Ooh. One is I want to portray an emotion in a song, for example, heartbreak, but I haven't felt a heartbreak in a long time. So I'm I would say tapping into an emotion so that you can get the right words is difficult for me because I always want it to be raw and the audience knows when it's not raw. Yeah. And it's funny because I'm writing a lot of breakup songs right now and I'm talking to friends who are going through breakups. I'm like, so how are you feeling right now? Put it into words for me. But it just helps me get perspective. And I'm like, can someone just fall in love with me and then break my heart just so I can write a hit album really fast?
That's why people be like, when Rich Paul break up with Adele, that album gonna be crazy.
And that's true with Drake. It's true with everyone. Yeah. It's when you feel more the good music comes out. But I would say that. I would say marketing is a huge thing with the music, especially just being independent right now. Just that's a whole game, is getting on Spotify playlists and releasing the right way. And I've learned the hard way that you can't just drop an album and expect it to blow up, because your audience needs to grow with singles and needs to be put on playlists. Unfortunately, you have to put time into the marketing side of things. So I think that's been my biggest obstacle.
To anybody?
No.
Okay, cool.
I'm not. I'll just say that. Yeah. I haven't signed anything yet.
I would try to get around before you not before you sign. If you end up signing, you know what I'm saying, do it in your best interest. But until then, I would get around some creators who create things that you believe in, and it's not necessarily licensing because you're not signed. It's your music, but definitely see how your songs could fit into their idea of creating content, and y'all could just go, because that's why I changed my outro to one of my homies that does YouTube rap. I changed it to his verse instead of what before I had it. My homeboy's beat was my intro outro for YouTube for years, to the point where people were like, yo, what's that intro? What's that song? It wasn't a song. It's just his beat. Yeah. Right. That way you can trigger familiarity to people. So if you can find some content creators who you feel like your vision of creating content fits my music, throw my music in a sound bite or something like that. It's all about working together.
I really think my voice would really sound good in movies and film. So I'm trying to get into that. I've actually made some really good connections in the past week. Just being in those spaces where I'm able to, if they have an idea or a song that I've already written where I'm can present it to them. I think my voice would sound really good in a movie. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but I mean, it's true. I think my voice is built for cinema.
Yeah. So when do you think? I think a lot, because I just recently found out what Blue Eyed Soul was maybe a year ago.
Okay.
Right? I think the Bee Gees, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So when people hear your voice, do you think to you, now you grew up with your voice your whole life, do you think your voice matches you? If somebody were to hear your voice, do you think they picture you walking through the room?
I don't know. That's a hard one. And I hate to bring up race, but a lot of comments have been about my race. You have a lot of soul. I didn't expect that from a white girl. I've gotten that comment and I'm I don't think anything of it. I don't have an opinion on it. But I think my voice matches my energy and who I am as a person, and people who know me know my voice.
I would say it like this, and I think this was an effect of social media on our generation. We think there's only one way for things, right? Since media has been alive, so even the radio, right? I think the radio was the dawn of this misconception, but people are getting past it now, I think. Is certain sounds only come from certain places or certain people. Which
is just not accurate at all.
Not at all.
It's unfair to bottle up any type of person and, put that. But some people just can't think other than that,
But I think that's why the internet is so good, because it's bringing people together, right? You're able to look at somebody who, perfect example. You're able to look at somebody like Jay-Z, who made songs about selling crack and became a mogul, right? Dang. But that's already existed. When Jack Daniels and them were bootlegging liquor, those are billion-dollar alcohol companies.
Yeah.
They just waited for it to become legal, and they blew up. Hennessy, all of them.
Yeah.
So we've seen it. People didn't see it from, in America's lens of correctness, they didn't see it from black people, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why I think the next generation is going to be so much more apt, because they'll look at somebody like you and say, I believe she could sing. Because before, it was those sounds don't come from, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You'll be on a stage and this is a very true statement for anyone, but you make a decision about someone within 10 seconds of seeing them. Like, you make a decision if you like them, if you're going to continue to watch what they do, whether it be performing, whether it be talking, whether anything you do in life, you have 10 seconds to prove to someone that you're worth their time. And I've heard that somewhere on a podcast, I think. And I was like, damn, that's true. Yeah. So I feel like, that is very true for performers when they're in the spotlight. Yeah. They're on a stage, or they're at the Grammys, or they're at they have 10 seconds for someone to judge their dress and then decide, oh, that's a look or not. Like, people are so judgmental. Yeah. And I mean, I can honestly say, like, I've been influenced by Black artists my entire life. And so I'm I give honor to them. Yeah. By
shouting,
making sure like my influence 100% has been Black artists most of my life.
Like me, I am just a advocate of people who people believe shouldn't be successful, becoming successful in a good manner, right? Like when Christian McCaffrey became the number 1 running back in the NFL, I was like, bro, I'm happy because like, you know what I'm saying? This is a place where everybody said, you know, now people could break it down into the NFL is, I don't care. All right. This is a place where people looked at him and say,
he can't do it.
We're taking this. Right. Yeah. And you became, and that's why I'm proud of all the Black people who create businesses, you know what I'm saying? Or, anybody who does anything, right? And I'm glad they are making this Elvis Presley movie because, man.
When is that coming out?
I think it's in like 2 months, a month or
That's
two.
going to be crazy.
No, it's just September. But that movie is going to show like
the influence.
Everybody's just trying to make it out of here.
Yeah.
The people up here, divisiveness is what keeps everybody here.
Yeah.
Because if they can control your narrative, when you get up here, and they don't like it, everybody has something they're going to take that and paint it to the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that way because the world is they've created the world to be judgmental. And if we can make everybody be judgmental and control what people think about you, there's nothing you could do. You have to do what we say, right? And especially if you have a vice, if it's money, women, drugs, that lifestyle fuels that. And if they could just strip it away from you, then look at you.
Yeah. So, what is that Elvis movie going to be on? Do you know?
I think it's coming out in theaters.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm glad they're making that because it just shows that the perspective that you may have on something may not all be as correct as you thought it was going to be.
Especially with the attention span of social media and TikTok. Yeah. The short TikTok era has given us is like people will see one clip of an interview and be like, can't believe them. I hate them. Blah, blah. Yeah. I'm like, did you watch the interview? Like, it's even to bring back the Will Smith situation. People are like, I can't believe that he even would stick up to Jada for Jada like that when she had an entanglement. I'm like, did you watch the interview or did you just watch the clip of him crying? Because they're a grown couple. They worked it out and they both made mistakes. I was like, you didn't even watch the interview, you know, like stuff like that. Like everyone's got an opinion apparently. People, I won't let it affect me in my career. That's for sure.
I think what people do is like they assume that everybody else is assuming, but their perspective is correct. Like you had to assume a lot of stuff about Will too. Like to get to your point, we don't know. Yeah, like what goes on in their house.
We never will know.
Yeah,
we are never going to know.
So I just, as long as you're not hurting nobody. Well, you hurt Chris. You know what I'm saying, Chris. R.I.P. to your face, my boy. But as long as you're not super malicious and acting within regards of like humanity,
which Will isn't. I mean, Will Smith as a whole has done so much good. I think for humanity, and even in his speech, he said he feels so overwhelmed by what God has called him to do in his career, in this life, at this time. I think is very accurate because Will's persona is huge. His energy is huge. He's been able to impact so many lives. Yeah, and that I can understand how that is overwhelming. Like, you know,
and maybe it could be because it's a perception thing too. Is because like, there's the entanglement. Everybody knows that part. But like, I think with enough insight, I think they're pretty much in an open relationship.
Yeah.
August Alsina was just the first person to talk. And Will Smith understands if y'all keep digging, the world is gonna find out. And the world is gonna judge me for being what most of y'all are anyway.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna lose the ability to spread this word. Like I said, Jesus Christ, you know what I'm saying? It's all the same. It's all parallels, bro.
Yes.
It's all parallels.
Thanks.
But so let's get in. So you said you haven't had a heartbreak in a while. How did your last heartbreak go?
I was heartbroken because I broke someone's heart. That's how my last heartbreak was. And I cared about them a lot.
Really?
And I knew that we were just going different directions, but it was going to be a hard goodbye. Mm-hmm. And that's when I wrote Closure, actually. Closure is the first song I really wrote since I was a little girl. I used to write about world peace when I was a little girl. I want to find those notebooks because she meant so well. My younger self was so pure. But yeah, I mean, it was tough because I cared so much about him. Mm-hmm. And I knew that it would be a lot of hurt in the future if I were to say goodbye, but I needed to say goodbye. So that was my last heartbreak.
Why do you think you had to say goodbye?
Oh, man, I just knew. I could just see into the future. Our life paths were just going different directions, and it was nothing personal. I still love him to this day. Yeah. Still very thankful for that chapter in my life, but that's the thing. It really wasn't anything personal. It just was what needed to happen
at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I tell people. People are like, how'd you spend 5 years in a relationship and you just move on? Because look, things happen. Like, people go on different paths, and that's not to say they can't meet back.
Right.
But at this point, we have to do what's best for each other. And
it's like a lack of respect for yourself, even if you remain in that situation and you feel that calling to, you know, be alone. Yeah. And figure out what you need, you know. And I needed that. I was ending college and, you know, going into the new chapter of my life.
So was that like right before you came to Atlanta?
Well, actually, I mean, we actually broke up, I think after my sophomore year of college, but I lived in Cape Town for a semester my junior year. Yeah. So that was kind of like I needed to go out, be on my own and be by myself. And so, yeah, that was 3 years ago.
So what was the experience like in Cape Town?
Oh, my God. Anyone who knows me knows that it was like the best time of my life. Like the culture there, the people there are still family to me. But the culture is just different, like a very loving culture that they prioritize celebrating life, whereas America and Americans, I should say, prioritize getting somewhere in life. Yeah. True. Individualistic culture in America. Yeah. And that was eye-opening to me because I had no idea until I left America, like how the world viewed America. Yeah. I had a girl at a bar try to fight me because I was an American. What? Literally. I was like, girl, I am not America as a whole. I am from America. Yeah. Like,
how did that conversation go?
Well, she was drunk, and some people are just angry about everything and love to pick a fight, and that's kind of the situation. Yeah. But yeah, we had to leave that place.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it was eye-opening for sure, to see what America actually was to the world. Because growing up in America, you're like, oh, we're a superpower. We're the best country, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Patriotic, you know, and all that. But some of the world is laughing at America. I'll say that. Yeah. And people don't realize that.
I think it's a perspective of situation with them, right? And like they always, like you say, the sun, right? There was this concept of the snow people and the sun people, right? And I think the sun people were from a place where everything was abundant, right? I think I don't know if there's other countries that spread across, but I know Africa was part of it, right? Where everything that they needed was given to them by Earth, right? Food. So there was never need for competition. It was only a need for community. But what happened is the snow people came in and they're like, it's December. Y'all got corn? We gonna need that. Like, we need. So then that rivalry or that conflict began, and again, it's all perspective, right? Who's wrong and who's right. The people over here are like, yo, we have people dying because we are running out of food, our crops, and y'all have it year round.
Give it to us.
Yeah. So who's wrong and who's right? Like, it's all a matter of perspective. But I think, especially like African countries, that's where that community stuff comes from. Because I know Eritrea, they shut down. Well, I heard that they shut down the city from like 12 to 2 for everybody to go home and spend lunch with their family.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I worked in Cape Town, like our office space had, for example, a meditation room. What? And people would go for hours away from their desks to meditate, and or go to the gym. There was a gym in the workspace, and take time for themselves. Like, my boss told me from day one, if I needed a mental health day, you have a mental health day. No questions asked. Like, and that's the difference. Is like mental health over there is prioritized, and that was a nice break. And especially from college, the college grind, you know. That was really nice. I didn't want to come home, honestly. Yeah. My heart is in Cape Town. I want to go back and perform. That's my dream, to go back and perform and see Table Mountain, if you know anything about Table Mountain. It's one of the 7 wonders of the world in Cape Town. It's just a giant mountain with a tabletop on top, so you can walk around on the top of the mountain.
That's crazy.
It's amazing. Yeah. Shout out to my Cape Town family. I love you all.
That's how I am at Glasgow. Yeah, it's my homie Crip, the rapper. He's a YouTuber. He's the one who hosted the YouTube cookout. So we went out there, and the first time I slept in like the hotel, it was a lot of people. So I'm very like, I'm going to read everybody, because like I need to know who's my friend and who's not, who's good people and who's not. So I did a lot of that the first time. Second time, it was a more intimate setting. It was just his mom, his family, and a couple other YouTubers, like maybe like 3 or 4 other YouTubers. And I remember we're chilling, like there's no worry and nothing, you know what I'm saying? And in comparison to being in Atlanta, and his mom had like a full basement built. It looked like a real world set, 5 bedrooms, a kitchen, a living room. And I go to sleep in a back room, and it's like pitch black. And I'm like, we go to sleep at like 3 in the morning. I wake up at 7:30, fully rested. I'm like, because there's no light, there was no sound, there was no nothing. So like here, we go to sleep, we got lights from street lights shining in. You got your computer plugged in, your iPhone in your face. That's why I bought blackout curtains for my house. Like, to keep when it's time to relax,
there's nothing.
Get the light out of here. Yeah. So I bought it for my room is literally pitch black if I unplug my computers out the wall at night. And like that piece is so crazy.
Even the buzz of just like the technology and like I don't know. I've heard podcasters talk about like even the signals your phone is always receiving affects you. Yeah. And affects humans. And I think to unplug, I really want to take a group and have a cabin in the woods, no phones, nothing, for like a weekend.
We're going to do that this summer. So you should.
Can I come? I would love to come. Yeah. Because that's something I want, friends like that, people like that, where we can just have a good time. We don't need anything.
Disconnect. Yeah. I like, and I think the thing that always kept me connected to my phone was a relationship. But like last summer, I got out of a relationship. And when I went to Kentucky the next time, I forgot my phone existed.
Yeah, like, that's such a good feeling.
That feeling is just like...
It's the best feeling, yeah.
Yeah, so...
I'm trying not to check my phone in the morning. That's my biggest thing. Right when I wake up, like, no, you don't need to check your phone until you're up and moving or at the gym already, or you know what I mean? Like, take time to just think about how you want your day to be. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I think relaxing. I have a routine now, I think, where I have enough time to sit and think. I've stripped, like, the bad stuff out of my life. Anything that brought me toxicity is gone.
That's awesome. That's a good place to be. Yeah. That's a good place to be. Because you've been able to recognize what wasn't helping you and get rid of it.
Have you ever done like a retreat like that besides when you went to Cape Town? Or was that your first experience like that?
Honestly, another good thing about growing up Mormon is like they had like retreats like that during the summer. And it was when like phones were kind of new, and it's called young women's camp, and there weren't any phones allowed. But like, truthfully, that's some of the best memories of me being a young girl. It's like just being in nature, connecting with nature for a whole week, and like just the memories during those times, and just my mindset during those times is beautiful. And so, I want to get into that and make it a regular thing, like maybe even once a month type of deal, where your phone is off the entire weekend. Make it a week. Make it a month, make it a year. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Phones can be very exhausting to anyone, and everyone has access to you when you have your phone. Yeah. And sometimes people don't deserve access to you.
You use Focus on your phone? You got iPhone?
Yeah.
Focus. You use Focus? So at 10.
Oh, do not disturb? Yeah. Yeah, I do.
So at 10:30 every night, my notifications stop.
Yeah, that's
like,
good.
And now that I do that, it's so much easier for me to wind down and go to sleep because
you're not worried about popping up.
Yeah, because it don't pop up. The only thing that can come through is my mom and dad's text messages and phone calls from certain people. That's it.
Yeah, shout out to Apple for adding that. Yeah. That's very important.
That's why I applaud. People always say like these technology companies are out to get us. Anything that's not controlled like by the government, I think the people up there, they have good intentions. The people between us and them are the ones with bad intentions. So like I watched Back to Space by on Netflix about Elon Musk taking SpaceX to the moon or flying back out into space. And when you watch, there's no way you can hate Elon Musk. There's no way.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos, you know what Overtime is in Atlanta, the Overtime gym by Atlantic Station?
No.
So, you know, the NCAA, they didn't pay kids until this year. Kids couldn't even make money.
Yeah.
Well, Overtime forced them to do that.
I've seen it. Yeah, no, I've seen. It's like the gym. Yeah, I have seen that.
So what they did is, hey, you're in high school, you're generating social media millions of dollars. Come play for us. We'll pay you. We'll pay for your school. We'll get your education, and we'll get you to the next level. That way, by the time you get there, you're not hit with a $3 million or $8 million contract.
Yeah,
you've had hundreds of thousands of dollars
already
within the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So, but I know Jeff Bezos is an investor for that. But people hate Jeff Bezos. Like I'm like, bro, y'all don't even understand. Like people are able to deliver packages for a living.
Yeah. Because of Jeff Bezos.
Because Jeff Bezos. Like, my homie told me it was like $96 per truck you deliver. And if you deliver 2 trucks, that's $180. You deliver 2 trucks 4 times a week, you could pay your rent and live whatever life you want. All you got to do is drop a box off to people who have enough money that are too lazy to go to the store themselves. So, yeah, I like all that. But we got to leave with some type of story time. Give me a very interesting story of your life.
Interesting. Let's see. I got to make it good, you know? I have lots of stories. Like, give me a theme. Give me, like, from my childhood.
We'll say teenage to college years.
Teenage to college years.
Like some story that like when you write your book, this story got to go in there. Like this story was crazy. I don't know if anybody else went through this, but this happened to me. I be trying not to steer everything to relationships because that's the easiest thing. Everybody's been through relationships. But if it's outside of relationships, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess I can't really think of like anything super, super crazy and outlandish, but I was able to be a part of a very competitive show choir in high school. Okay. The Midwest is big in show choir. Like it's all competition and it's intense. But I was in Center Grove Sound System. So shout out Center Grove Sound System. We got to travel the nation performing. And that's when I really fell in love with performing. In high school, and then I stepped away from that in college. And like looking back on it, I'm like, oh, that's why I was depressed in college.
Because you stopped singing.
Because I wasn't doing what I loved to do because I didn't think I could do it, you know? Got my degree in communications and film and went that route. And then I did the podcast my senior year of college. And then I was like, nah, music is what I want to do. But as far as like crazy stories,
if you don't have any, you will get some here in Atlanta. All right.
I know. I believe that. Sorry, Mom. I've lived a crazy life. I've done some crazy things that maybe I don't want to say on camera. Okay. Just because I like to have fun and like I like people, and sometimes I'm too trusting of people, and that's a big lesson I've learned as an adult, is to not trust everybody, because not everyone has the best intent in mind for you. Truthfully, I can't think of a crazy story, but I'll just say that, like, a message to my younger self: don't trust everyone. Don't trust everyone.
I think I was able to like be close enough to people to see the consequences but not feel them. Mm-hmm. I think the one thing that I didn't develop in life, I'm not going to say didn't develop, something I missed out on, is I've been in 2 relationships since I was 15, like 6 years each. So
damn.
Yeah. So
damn.
People gain so many scars. Like how you say to my younger self, I was so pure. I think I was able to maintain that, like, with having my focus on a relationship, that when I got out of them and I come to the world, it's like a lot of scarred people who forgot how to build a comfortable environment for the other person, and is just ready to snatch and like take you for everything that they could, all the purity that you have left. And that's one of my biggest, I'm not going to say regrets. It's one of the things I'll tell people to be aware of going through life, for sure. So I understand when people say, wait to get in a relationship, because if you don't develop some of those scar story, I don't think people should go through it, though. I don't know.
Confliction. That's funny.
Yeah.
I guess it's not like a crazy story that happened, but I lost a lot of weight my senior year of high school. And it was really interesting to see how differently people treated me.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I got a whole new group of friends, like just people who popped up in my life that had never been in my life. Mm-hmm. And I was in the same school system most of my life, you know? So that was interesting. I really came into my confidence.
Yeah.
Because I was taking care of myself, you know, physically. It's like that stool I was talking about.
Facts.
I've always been a very spiritual person. Like, looking back, even though I didn't know it, I've always been in tune with my intuition. Mentally, you know, I've had spots in my life where I've been in a dark place, but overall I've been able to pull myself out of it. Yeah. But physically, that was the hardest part for me. And so I'm still figuring it out. Like, everyone's on their journey, and it's not linear. But once I had that physical aspect gained, man, my senior year of high school, my stool was solid. Solid. And then in college, you got a little wobbly on the mental side, a little wobbly on the spiritual side, definitely wobbly on the physical side. But we're tabletopping it back. Yeah. Definitely.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Who do you think treated you more differently, men or women?
Men. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. It was very evident. Looking back, especially. Just as situations, like I had a guy at a party my senior year. I never got invited to parties because I was a theater kid. I was always performing. Like, I had a really good group of friends. I love my high school friends, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. But when I lost weight my senior year, I got invited to parties, like drinking parties, you know? And so this guy literally straight up asked me how much I used to weigh at the party in front of everyone. And that was like, and then he like made a joke about it. Like, how, like, it was stuff like that where I'm like,
some people just aren't good people, bro.
Right. And that's the thing too. Some people really just are clueless and are shit people. And I needed, you know, to understand that lesson. But stuff like that, I mean, comments like that I had to go through when I did get my physical health together. Yeah. It was eye-opening for sure. Social experiment.
Yeah, I don't like bad people, bro.
Like, why? Like, the question was so irrelevant and just, you look dumb. It made him look dumb, truly.
And I think I learned that too. I used to be a person. I used to press the nuclear button on everybody because, like you said, well, like the stars say, I'm a good communicator, right? So people feel like comfortable when they talk to me. And what I used to do is like when people tried to hurt me, I know all your secrets, okay? So like
give it right back to them.
Calm down,
Yeah.
all right, with your jokes.
You gotta match the energy though. I don't blame you.
Yeah. So I used to go too far sometimes because like. If I see you're trying to hurt me, I'm gonna try to hurt you. I know I'm real with myself, so there's nothing you see that you could say
that's gonna really hurt.
That's
me.
gonna hurt me.
Yeah.
Like, I used to wear basketball shorts to school every day, no matter how cold it was. People used to roast me for it. So there's no amount of basketball shorts or like short or skinny jokes you could tell me that's gonna make me hurt. But what I know about you, I know what you hiding from the world. Like,
yeah, like watch yourself before. Yeah.
But I made a girl cry. One day I want to see her again so I could apologize. It was like 4th grade. Oh, but it scarred me though, because I don't like hurting people.
What'd you say to her?
I think she just liked me. I didn't like her back.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't want to date you type joint. And
you? I don't like them.
Yeah, I don't like you. I never forget we was in line. She went into the bathroom crying. The teacher followed her in there. I'm just like, because I like this other girl in class. And ever since then, like, I'm very careful. That's what told me to be careful with how you portray a message to somebody.
Because it can affect
how they
react.
Them. Yeah. Everybody can receive a message. It's how you say it. And that's why I think my communication skills are as effective as they are. But that hurt me in relationships because I knew how to communicate and understand we're on the same team. And sometimes my relationships didn't do that. So those also led to the souring of some of my relationships. But yeah. All right. Last question. Top 3 artists you want to collab with?
So growing up Mormon, right? I wasn't able to listen to a lot of pop music or relevant music, because it didn't fit the Mormon standards. Yeah. It talked about, stuff that Mormons don't talk about. But my mom snuck me a JoJo CD when I was young, and that's all I listened to. That's what I sang in my room for years. That's what I gravitated towards and really like found my voice with. So JoJo, JoJo? Yeah. Get out, leave right now. That album
you have a good voice.
Changed. Thank you. JoJo?
No, you.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But no, that album really did change my life because JoJo was belting. She was belting. Facts. Her voice is crazy. So like I would emulate what she would do, and that's where I got my belt, So JoJo's number 1. That's my girl. Alicia Keys.
Okay.
Definitely. I have 2. So I'm going to do 4. Beyonce is, if I were to even be in her presence, I would be so honored. Yeah. She's just a superpower. I don't think she's really human. And Cleo Soul is the 4th one. You know Cleo?
I don't think I've heard of her.
She's definitely very neo soul vibe, but she just put out an album called Mother. And the producer has worked a lot with Adele and with Drake, and mentioned that she held her newborn baby most of the time that they were recording the album.
That's crazy.
Which is just beautiful for me to see. Like, and she just emulates such a motherly energy, and that's the same energy I want to give to the world. It's just like this ethereal, divine feminine beauty, So Cleo Soul, I love you. But yeah, that's my top.
All right, listen, I will tell everybody where they can find you real quick.
Yes, please keep up with me in my journey. My Instagram is Naoma the Sun. So that's Naoma, the sun, like SUN. Really, that's where all my stuff is. My TikTok is the same thing, Naoma the Sun. And yeah, Instagram is my main platform, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, look, I will link all of that down below. Make sure y'all go follow those. Like, comment, subscribe to the video. This podcast will be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all that great stuff. But until the next time we see y'all, peace.